It was a year after that Srila Prabhupada, Srila Narayan Maharaj came to Watford again. He came to Watford this time and he stayed at a Nandini's house. I had moved from the house I was in to a couple of streets away from a Nandini, and I'd met a Nandini, and she was chanting her rounds, and I'd met her, and she said that Gurudev, he wanted to go, he was in Watford, and he wanted to go to Bhaktivedanta Manor, and he'd had some problems there in the past. And at the time in Bhaktivedanta Manor, I was also a pujari there. I was dressing the deities again at night. So I said to her, I will take him. I will take him to Bhaktivedanta Manor. So I went to a Nandini's house, and there was a minibus, and I got in the minibus, and Gurudev got in, and he turned round and he gave me the biggest smile ever, and I said, I'm going to take you to Bhaktivedanta Manor. And I was so puffed up. I said to him, I'm going to protect you. I had this amazing feeling. I'd been praying to Lord Nrsingadev, and I knew that there was a lot of controversy over Narayan Maharaj coming to England and the devotees in ISKCON. And I had this amazing feeling from Srila Prabhupada to protect him. It was Srila Prabhupada says, you can protect him. I mean, I can protect a sadhu like this. And I felt so strong like Nrsingadev in the car, you know, and I knew it wasn't my ego because, but I felt so strong in the car, taking Gurudev and devotees to Bhaktivedanta Manor. And we went in the back way of Bhaktivedanta Manor, and I led Srila Narayan Maharaj in, and there was the management there, standing there in the at the bottom of the stairs, and some of my god sisters. I had this incredible feeling from Srila Prabhupada that he wanted Narayan Maharaj to come there and see Radha Gokulananda and visit him on the Vyasasan. That I had this sympathy for my god brothers and god sisters. You're not understanding that this is what Srila Prabhupada wants. So although I came in, there was a humbleness also to the anger of my god brothers and god sisters, and I think because I showed that mood, they allowed it to go ahead. They were shocked because I had this mood of that I wasn't blaming them. I had this incredible feeling, and I knew it was coming profoundly from Srila Prabhupada, that they're misunderstanding. And Narayan Maharaj came in and he dandavat pranams to Srila Prabhupada, and he went up to Radha Gokulananda, his hands folded, and all the devotees in there had moved aside, and there was a ton of Narayan Maharaj people with him as well. I wasn't focused on that. I was only focused on Narayan Maharaj. And then I said to him, as he was coming out, I again had this incredible feeling that I must take him upstairs. Srila Prabhupada wants him to come upstairs to his rooms. And right in front of all my godbrothers and sisters, I said, Srila Prabhupada, I know, wants you to come and visit him in his rooms. And they moved aside and they didn't say anything. And we were able to take Srila Rai Maharaj upstairs to his rooms, and everybody sat down, and Gurudev spoke very nicely about Srila Keshav Maharaj initiating Srila Prabhupada in sannyas, and they sang the prayer, the ending of a Vaishnav. What do you think, Vaishnav? When somebody, yes, Vaishnav. Yes, yeah. Terrible with the Sanskrit. Know the song. Yes. Yeah. So they sang it, and it transported me to the spiritual world. I never heard anything so spiritual since Srila Prabhupada had been on the planet. It was unbelievable. And I don't even think the devotees who were following Narayan Maharaj realized exactly what had happened in Srila Prabhupada's rooms. But I felt the whole spiritual world had descended into that room at that time. And I'd lost sense of time and space. And as that song came to an end, I came back to where I was in Srila Prabhupada's rooms, and I got Narayan Maharaj there, and I had all his people, his disciples and everybody there, and I suddenly went, oh my God, brother and sister's going to be really angry with me. And immediately when that thought came in my mind, Narayan Maharaj looked at me and said, it's time for us to go. Again, he read my mind. There was no question that he hadn't read it. Just like I knew that Srila Prabhupada could read my mind. Yeah.
Before I start, I want to offer my deepest, most humble obeisances to my Diksha and Shiksha Gurus, to Srila Prabhupada and to Srila Narayan Maharaj, Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj. And we come into this life actually with no knowledge. Even intelligent people, they have only the knowledge of this world. And so we're so deeply grateful actually to our Gurus, because without our parampara and these pure teachers coming, we would actually have absolutely no knowledge of who we are, what we're here for, what is the purpose of this life. So we owe them actually so much. So I'm offering my respectful obeisances to them both and to our whole group, Parampara. And the song in the Vaishnava Vandana, where they're offering obeisances to all the Vaishnavas, even the ones that were, even the ones that will be. And so all the different organizations, I offer my respectful obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. So I was initiated by Srila Prabhupada and Bhaktivedanta Swami in 1973. For myself, I feel like Srila Prabhupada and Srila Gurudeva, they're a little bit like cheese and crackers or bread and butter. They go together. Yeah. You know, they just, and everybody's journey is different. It's not that everybody should do it my way, but this is my journey, and that's the way it is for me. And I feel that I was 18 years in Srila Prabhupada's ashrams, and I learned so much, I served so much. Srila Prabhupada said, work hard now, samadhi later. And that was me. I actually didn't read a lot. In fact, I never read a book in the whole 18 years I was there. Not that everybody does that, but that was me. I listened to classes. But I was happy to do that. It suited me, actually. But I did come to a point where I knew there was more because of experiences I had previously had, but I couldn't access them. And so I started praying to my Srila Prabhupada Murti. I was actually crying every day, and I was saying, where is what you gave me? Where is what you gave me? And that was actually when Bhaktivedanta Narayana Maharaj came into my life. So he actually came, in fact, first of all, someone sent me a letter inviting me to come to his classes the first time he came to England, and I put it in the bin because I didn't need anything other than Srila Prabhupada, because that was my understanding at the time. But then somehow or other, long story short, I at the last minutes, a friend of mine was going, and it was like the super soul instigated me to say, hey, they were on the way out the door, hey, wait, I'm coming. So I went. And the first time I'd met Srila Prabhupada, actually, I understood from his whole, just the way he was, there was something about him that was like, not like any other person I'd ever met. He was just sitting there, not speaking even. He was so grounded, and he was so 100% secure, 100% satisfied, 100% confident in whatever he believed, which I didn't know at that time. And he was totally unobligated to anyone or anything. So there was just this energy coming out that was totally amazing. So when I went to see Bhaktivedanta Narayana Maharaj, I was just really, well, let me have a look. I wasn't expecting anything anyway, but I recognised, oh, this person also has this energy that is definitely not bound by this world. So then I was fortunate actually, because some of his devotees and the children stayed with me actually that first year, Shamala and her daughters. So she talked to me a lot actually. I was packing magazines actually to be given out, and we sat up the whole night actually talking about the manjaris and different things, and it was just really nice. But the amazing thing I found at that time was there were 3 books that Srila Narayana Maharaj put out at that time. There was the Nectar of Govinda Leela, Bhakti Rasayan, and the Going Beyond Vaikuntha. And those 3 books actually stole the hearts of the world. They were very, very amazing books. They were simply presented, but actually very sweet and to the point. And when I read those 3 books, I really felt like Srila Prabhupada had sent me there, actually. I felt like it satisfied what I was looking for. From the things I had experienced, which sometimes we get given a gift that we can't maintain because we're not on that level. But when I read those books, I just felt, this is where Prabhupada wants me to be.
Born in ISKCON, parents, devotees, they used to own a restaurant, Govindas, and work in that preparing, cooking, serving prasadam to people. So I've been around devotees since birth. And when I was reaching the age of 12, because before that, 9, 10, I was thinking, okay, I need to get initiation. In ISKCON they call it first initiation, second initiation. So I said I need to get first initiation. I knew that it was like a fact. Nobody had to come and tell me it's required, So at age 9, I did the first Bhakti Shastri study. You have to learn the slokas and read all these things. You have to do some essays, tests and whatnot to see that you are ready for initiation. So I did it first year, and when it was time to choose guru, they will always send different GVCs to travel around and give Harinam to all the people that passed the test. So on my first year, I didn't choose anybody. So I did the same course again the next year, 10 years old. And it was time for initiations. Again, another group of gurus, they move around, they traveled, and they were giving Harinam. Again, I didn't choose any guru. Third year, I'm again doing the same course. And people are starting to say, like, you're gonna become like a Nitya Bhakta forever without initiation. And I'm like, well, I'm okay with that because already, my actual name is Nityananda from birth, so I don't really need a guru to tell me a spiritual name. I just want them to, like give me a japamala. Back then I still had, some that thirst and curiosity for chanting of a child, very innocent. So then, when I was 12 years old, then Ramesh, he arranged a festival for Gurudev in Costa Rica. At the time I was living in Costa Rica. And Gurudev came to his temple, he stayed there with the devotees, and he tells the story really well, how they arrived and everything. I wasn't there. But then one of those days, they brought Gurudev to our house, because Ramesh was bringing Gurudev to different places to show that we have devotees here, devotees there, and they came to our house. We were living in this community of devotees with around 60, 80 devotees in the place, and they all were either grihastas with family or brahmacharis doing book distribution and collection. So the temple was managed by one sannyasi at a time, Bhakti Abhaycharan, and he was a very good manager, So I was always having a small child running to the Gurukul. We had our own Gurukul there. So we're there, in temple hall, and we are told that there is a sannyasi guru traveling, coming from India to visit us. So at the time, ISKCON, they were issuing all these different notifications to all the temples not to allow Srila Gurudev into any of the places, and if he were to visit, not allow him to speak. That was like the official statement of the GBCs. And because of, now looking in retrospect, this guru, he had slightly separated from ISKCON. So the property was not an ISKCON name. He was not asking authorization from the GBCs to initiate or anything like that, He was very independent in that sense. And so when Ramesh called him and said, Narayan Maharaj is here, you want him to visit, he obviously agreed. And we had Gurudev there, big kirtan party, waiting for him, and garlands and everything. And then they come out of Ramesh's big car, SUV, and get down. And I'm looking at Gurudev, and I'm like, wow, he's quite old, but not too old, It's like very nice age, so that means he has a lot of experience. But still, he can live a long time, so I was like, that's interesting. Usually GBC's gurus, I see them either they look too young or way too old, and they're, you're afraid that they may die at any moment. So if you want to get a guru, you say like, okay, what if I get this guru and then they die soon, and what am I going to do? I was just, child, you have to think about these things, because it's like your parents. What if my father died? What if my mother died? That fear is there, So I saw him and I was like, wow, that's a nice age. And he looks like, he had like this aura around him, huge, expanding like in all directions. And it was very white with golden all around it. I'm like, I've seen that type of aura a few times in my life, and it's always, like just a little bit around the person, where they're like very nice and very peaceful. And you see that they don't have like this malice or anything like that clouding the aura. But his was not like this or like this or like this. It was huge. So I was like, wow, that's amazing. So now like I started to count, points on his favor. And then he sat there in the Vyasasan, and we have what's his name, instruments there. But then one of the ladies has this huge Casio keyboard or Yamaha, I forgot what it was, but big keyboard, and she starts playing, And I'm like, wow, I've never been in a kirtan with a keyboard. We always had just mridanga, kartals, harmonium, and there was a gong, but I never liked gongs, so I used to hide it here and there, so people couldn't find it. And first time listening to kirtan, with this keyboard, and there's two sisters that start singing this beautiful melody, you know. I'm there like, I never heard this type of melody. I want to ask people what is the name of this melody, or I want to learn it. So I went and asked somebody who was there, and they spoke Spanish, so they said like, oh yeah, this is the Australian tune. I'm like, oh, Australian tune, okay, sounds nice. Anyhow, then Gurudev finished the kirtan. They did some Pushpanjali, puja and everything like that. Then he gave a small harikatha in English. There were some translations, but sound was not doing anything for me. It was just like going here, coming out this way. I don't remember anything from the harikatha. However, I remember looking into his eyes, you know, he's like looking at everybody. He looked me into my eyes, and I'm like, wow, everything vanished. Everything disappeared. It was just him and I, nothing else. No sound, no space, no time. And then he moved his eyes, we looked at the next person, and I'm like, I never felt seen in my life. You know, people, they pay attention to you because you're a child, and they need to look after you. They need to make sure you are learning, you are studying, you are behaving properly, and all these things. So people look at you, but they are looking at you as a body, as a, you know, matter, something solid that has beginning and end. When Gurudev saw me, all that vanished, and it was just him and I, and not merging, but there was like no boundaries. So at that moment, this is like super crystal clear in my mind. I said to myself, if I'm gonna get initiation, I want a guru like him. Because I knew that he was leaving, you know, so it's not gonna be possible that he is gonna be my guru, but I want someone like him, that caliber. And I'm like, okay, now I'm not gonna settle for anything less. I want only that. Then program finished, they left and everything like that. That was 1997, yeah.